Do you wish for me to return to Shijiang? Chen Xiao smiled. I respect your choice. Regardless, I can provide for you. Li Wenli chuckled softly, resting her head on his shoulder. She believed she could have everything from Chen Xiao, save for possessing this man. It's still early. The holiday is at the end of the month. Are you planning to visit Shijiang? Chen Xiao pondered. I might not have that much time. The company could be quite busy. Oh, all right. Li Wenli understood. After all, spending tens of millions casually like today required time to earn. The most precious asset for the wealthy is often time. After more than half an hour of walking, Li Wenli, already low on energy, felt drained again. Chen Xiao waved to the back, and the two cars swiftly approached. Before they came to a halt, the lynx leaped out, opening the rear door. Chen Xiao and Li Wenli entered, and once the lynx closed the door, he returned to the passenger seat. The two vehicles gradually accelerated towards Jining University. The car stopped outside the school, and Chen Xiao and Li Wenli alighted, walking back. The Mercedes-Benz 600 returned to the company, while the Range Rover continued to follow Chen Xiao. On the basketball court at night, many students were still playing. Li Wenli suddenly felt a sense of disconnection. In the campus, most were still naive, while Chen Xiao had already made significant strides in society. She was momentarily unable to recall when he began to set himself apart so distinctly. Was it at the moment she first laid eyes on him, feeling her heart tremble? As she pondered, she looked up and saw Tan Cheng approaching from a nearby path. If all went as expected, the three would cross paths. Tan Cheng was a source of pain for Chen Xiao, a fact known by both classes. Li Wenli slightly turned her head, and indeed, noticed Chen Xiao's brow furrowed slightly, stirring an ache within her heart. Simultaneously, she felt a surge of indignation. How could she hurt a man that countless women yearned for? Her expression towards Tan Cheng was naturally not pleasant. Tan Cheng, upon spotting the two, paused momentarily, then lowered her head, feeling it inappropriate, and ultimately greeted them. Chen Xiao, what a coincidence. Yes, just finished class? Chen Xiao asked calmly, as if addressing an ordinary friend. Yes, I was practicing. I'm preparing for the welcome party next semester. Chen Xiao nodded. Oh, that is great, good luck. Thank you. Chen Xiao smiled faintly and chose to remain silent, leisurely making his way back to the dormitory. Li Wenli and Tan Cheng lagged behind him, exchanging a brief glance before hastily parting ways. Chen Xiao felt no peculiarity about the situation. Everything at school had gradually morphed into a sentimentality for him, or perhaps a marvelous journey through the corridors of youth once more. He cherished this process, yet he was not overly concerned with the outcome, for from the day of his graduation, his life would bid a definitive farewell to the past, stepping fully into a brand new, uncharted world. Unbeknownst to him, he had reached the base of Building 5. Li Wenli said, Chen Xiao, I'm heading off now, good night. All right, rest early, he replied. MHM. After Li Wenli departed, Tan Cheng hesitated, contemplating whether to greet him, but Chen Xiao had already entered the dormitory building, vanishing from sight. A myriad of emotions ultimately condensed into a soft sigh. Upon returning to the dormitory, Lu Xian remarked, Tomorrow is Erji's birthday. Remember to come back for dinner. Huh? Oh, got it, Chen Xiao responded. Damn, another birthday? Are you all buying gifts? Xiao Ji quipped. Chen Xiao was left speechless. This miser would whine at the mere thought of spending money. I'll buy a few cases of beer, Lu Xian decided. Then I'll get a pack of cigarettes, Xiao Ji added after a moment's thought. I'll help you two carry them. Chen Xiao anticipated this, knowing that this dog would carry the 2 cases of beer without ever admitting who purchased them, and would enthusiastically distribute the beer as if he had bought it himself. However, Chen Xiao was indifferent. He had already made his plans. All right, I'll buy them tomorrow. You carry them. Xiao Ji instantly brightened. Great. Xiaoga, do you smoke? Not now. I'm a bit tired. I'll rest first. What on earth made you so tired? Girls, what else? Xiaoyi exclaimed. Dem. The next day, Chen Xiao continued his morning exercise routine as usual. Li Wenli no longer vied with Xia Yudi for Chen Xiao's attention, for she understood that aside from accumulating frustration and losing the chance for a lie-in, she would gain nothing. The moving company had assembled early, with Su Tang and the others diligently fulfilling their roles, overseeing and directing every stage of the relocation process. The move proceeded smoothly, thanks to Chen Xiao's willingness to spend money. His employees merely had to voice their needs, and everything was systematically arranged in its designated place. The entire operation was concluded by midday. In the afternoon, the cleaning company conducted a final thorough cleaning, marking the completion of the entire moving endeavor. With Monday approaching, all employees would commence work in the new office building. Chen Xiao only listened to Su Tang's report in passing and did not inquire further. Instead, He directly drove his imposing Land Rover to Junyi International. Upon receiving Chen Xiao's call, Shi Yunru promptly bathed and dressed. With a membership card costing 15,000 a month, she would begin to feel anxious if he did not return soon. She had spent the past few days speculating whether Chen Xiao would cease visiting regularly and subsequently seek to cancel his membership. Clearly, Shi Yunru had overthought the situation. Upon seeing Chen Xiao again, he did not even mention refunds or fee reductions. "Mr. Chen, why have you been away for so long?" She inquired. "Oh, I've been rather busy lately," he replied. "It's quite all right. If I don't come, it merely signifies a holiday for you." Upon hearing this, Shi Yunru felt a wave of relief wash over her, realizing that Chen Xiao bore no ill will regarding the fees. "All right, let me assist you in loosening your joints and warming up," she said. "Very well," Chen Xiao replied, his gaze brazenly roaming over Shi Yunru's figure, her exaggerated curves eliciting intense, emotional fluctuations within him every time, especially her posterior, which Chen Xiao regarded with the same fervor one might reserve for a prime investment opportunity. Unable to resist the desire to partake, wealthy individuals need not engage in physical exertion themselves. He simply reclined on the massage table, allowing Shi Yunru to tend to him entirely. Particularly when she perched on his back, using her body weight to apply pressure, he experienced an astonishing softness. As she arched her back, turning to face him and guiding his hands to her waist before pressing downward, Chen Xiao found himself unable to contain his excitement at the sight of her peach-like form before him. After finally managing to loosen his body, Chen Xiao suggested, "Yunru, would you accompany me to a certain place?" Shi Yunru hesitated, her cheeks flushed as she replied, "Mr. Chen, the package is not currently available for unlocking." "I'm not seeking to unlock you. I merely wish to take you somewhere," he clarified. "Oh, all right then." Subsequently, Chen Xiao escorted Shi Yunru to the Binjiangno One residential complex. Although she was somewhat taken aback, she could accept it. The complex was indeed valued at over $1 million. Yet families with slightly more financial means could manage a down payment. However, upon reaching the 50th floor, an unsettling feeling began to seep in. For the elevator lobby exuded opulence, and this floor boasted only one grand entrance. "This is it. We have arrived. Let us see if it aligns with your dreams," Chen Xiao announced as he pushed open the door. Shi Yunru's captivating eyes widened in astonishment, her alluring lips parting slightly. Inside, the living room alone spanned over 100 square meters, adorned with elegant and luxurious decor, exuding sophistication. "Come in," Chen Xiao beckoned. Bewildered, Shi Yunru stepped into the house. "Follow me," he instructed, leading her to the gym. Look, an expansive private gym, with a full wall of floor-to-ceiling windows offering a view of the Changting River, perfectly matching your aspirations. As she traversed the space, Shi Yunru struggled to articulate her astonishment. The living room was vast, exceeding 100 square meters, with numerous distinct rooms. The gym before her was over 100 square meters, easily twice the size of her own. This house is simply enormous," Shi Yunru exclaimed. "It's not so bad, merely 800 square meters." 800? She echoed, unable to comprehend how such a size could be spoken of so nonchalantly. Perhaps when she learned that on the same day, Chen Xiao had also acquired a 16,000 square meter office building, she would come to understand. Shi Yunru lingered in the gym, captivated. Her flawless physique was a result of her passion for fitness, or rather, her obsession with maintaining an impeccable figure. Encountering such a lavish private gym was simply irresistible. Gazing out at the gently flowing waters of the Changting River through the floor-to-ceiling windows, Shi Yunru remarked dreamily, "This is my dream." Chen Xiao smiled faintly, approaching her side, and softly said, "If you wish, you may stay here indefinitely." Shi Yunru paused, contemplating. I need to think it over." Chen Xiao replied with a grin, "Of course. Here are the keys to the house. I will arrange for 2 maids to assist you, and they will be entrusted to your management for the time being." That is not possible," she protested. "It's all right. I seldom have the time to manage it. Consider it a favor among friends. Just help me look after this property." Stunned, Shi Yunru stood frozen in place. Such a magnificent mansion, worth millions, is not frequently inhabited. Moreover, it was evident that he possessed more than just this one residence. Initially, she believed Chen Xiao to be merely a wealthy young heir. Then she thought he might be a second-generation affluent individual, but it seemed her assumptions were overly simplistic. "Very well," she acquiesced, accepting the keys. This opulent mansion perfectly mirrored her dreams. With the keys in hand, she felt she was drawing closer to her aspirations. Her pursuits were clear and extraordinary. naturally beyond the reach of ordinary individuals. She had long recognized this fact and had prepared herself accordingly, though she had not anticipated this day would arrive so swiftly. There were countless who coveted her beauty, yet the economic prerequisites filtered out 99%. The desire to avoid parenthood eliminated the remaining 1%, leaving them all outside her door. Chen Xiao might be the sole individual who met her criteria, and remarkably so. Gathering her courage, Shi Yunru asked, Chen Xiao, will you marry in the future? Chen Xiao was taken aback. Marriage? His gaze drifted towards the distant horizon outside the window. He had endured a marriage in a past life, with a brutally harsh conclusion. Haha, marriage is simply not in my cards. I will remain single for this lifetime. Shi Yunru's face flushed, and she made a certain decision within her heart, lowering her head to speak. Then, could you grant me a few days? Chen Xiao was momentarily stunned. All right. A wave of elation surged within him. It seemed she was ready to unlock new possibilities. Undoubtedly, this enchanting woman would not slip from his grasp. He possessed ample patience for Shi Yunru. After all, a forcibly obtained fruit may quench thirst, yet it lacks sweetness. Presently, Chen Xiao was not thirsty. He desired something sweet. As the time approached for his brother's birthday celebration, he left the house in high spirits. He joined a thunderous crowd outside and returned to school. At the convenience store near the cafeteria, he ordered 4 boxes of beer for $24 and called Xiao Ji to help carry them. Meanwhile, Chen Xiao ventured to the commercial street to procure some juice. These rascals drank recklessly, and Chen Xiao intended to balance the alcohol with some juice. Of course, such a notion was previously unheard of. The cost of a dozen cups of juice exceeded that of a meal. Minutes later, Chen Xiao returned, carrying 10 cups of juice. In the opposite dormitory, a group of over 10 individuals had gathered. He overheard Xiao Ji cursing. Damn it, I'm not moving anymore. They just came up and hit me. I didn't even know what was happening. Chen Xiao was taken aback. What happened? Xiao Ji turned his head, and Chen Xiao nearly burst into laughter at the sight. The poor fellow was battered and bruised, with tissues stuffed up his nose, his clothes smeared with footprints, and his trousers torn to shreds. What the hell? Chen Xiao, did you set me up? Xiao Ji exclaimed. What on earth would I set you up for? I ordered beer and went to buy juice instead. What happened? Chen Xiao replied, bewildered. Everyone quickly seized the freshly squeezed juice from Chen Xiao's hands. Wow, Xiaozi is generous. Impressive. You must have hooked up with a wealthy woman. Someone remarked. Hey, don't just take it. Xiao Ji snatched a cup of juice and continued. I was on my way to get beer when a Volkswagen pulled up. A few people got out and asked if I was Ji-using. When I said yes, they just started beating me without any explanation. I'll definitely report this. They'll be caught sooner or later. Chen Xiao, upon hearing about the Volkswagen and the unprovoked attack, suddenly thought, could this be Xing Yanqing seeking revenge for Zhao Xiaohong? What the hell? The crowd was taken aback, and Xiao Ji asked, what's wrong, Xiaozi? Chen Xiao responded, nothing at all. Those scoundrels will be caught eventually. Right? They will be caught, Xiao Ji echoed. Come on, let us get started. Once we catch them, just let us know, and we'll help you get even. The Xian declared. With that, the meal commenced. Chen Xiao glanced at the bottle of liquor in front of the Xian, and, taking advantage of his sobriety, leaned in and offered him a cigarette. Brother Xian, drink less. Alcohol isn't good for you. Oh, look at Xiaozi taking on the role of a teacher. Ha ha. Come on, let us have a drink together. Chen Xiao realized that his advice was in vain. Fine, let us drink. Who is afraid of whom? At least Chen Xiao knew that there would be no issues with this gathering, though he anticipated some trouble in the dormitory come morning. After 3 glasses, the atmosphere became lively. The drinking transitioned from a casual round to a competitive clash. Xiao Ji yanked the tissue from his nose and shouted, come on, Lu Xen. If you don't drink this cup, you're my son. Get lost. I'll drink you under the table. Chapter 90. A scene of calamity. Although Chen Xiao hadn't consumed much alcohol, he was fully immersed in this unforgettable birthday celebration. The seniors animatedly recounted amusing anecdotes and exaggeratedly mimicked interesting characters and events from school, with others chiming in or playfully teasing one another. Whenever someone's embarrassing moment was brought up, the crowd erupted in laughter and added their own embellishments. In the dormitory, they had ordered a dozen dishes from the cafeteria, and with one person buying a case of beer and another a few packs of cigarettes, they pieced together a simple gathering. What remained was a joy that could never be bought, no matter how much money one spent in the future. They ate, laughed, and reveled together. After more than 2 hours, most were tipsy, swaying even while seated. The second brother unsteadily brought out the cake and placed it in the center, making a wish before starting to slice it. Watching the eager faces around him, Shen Jiansheng preemptively warned, no one is allowed to smear the cake today. Let's not waste it. Yes, yes, no one can smear it. Let's enjoy it properly. The suggestion received unanimous approval. A few minutes later, everyone held a plate of cake, taking small bites while exchanging knowing smiles, maintaining a semblance of decorum. Dashin, with his cake in hand, remarked on the excessive cream, and, jesting, he dabbed some on Shun Jianqing's face. Instantly, the atmosphere fell silent. Dairue swiftly followed suit, smearing cream on Urge's face, exclaiming, indeed. The cream on this cake is overwhelmingly abundant. Urge, taken aback, retaliated immediately, and thus began the playful skirmish. The dormitory erupted into chaos, with whipped cream flying in every direction. Shun Jiansheng, cigarette in mouth, directed an entire plate of cake onto Dashin's face, persistently slathering it. Dashin, sluggish from intoxication, only realized what happened after the fact, staggering to his feet in an attempt to pursue, but accidentally stepped on a pot, landing unceremoniously. Fortunately, it had been off the heat for some time, sparing him from burns. Liquid concoctions splattered across the floor. Some fled the scene, while others mounted their peers, snatching up either cake or soup from the ground to smear on each other's faces. Chun Xiao, sensing the escalating chaos, was the first to retreat to the dormitory, leaping onto his bed and covering himself with a blanket, feigning death. Xiao Ji soon followed, promptly locking the door. Outside, a cacophony ensued as kicks battered the door. Xiao Ji, you think you can escape after smearing me? Get out here. Xiao Ji laughed while cursing, what a lunatic if you break the door. You'll have to pay. After a while, realizing they could not breach the door, the assailants sought other targets. Chun Xiao exhaled deeply, reveling in the sounds of shattering bottles, shouts, and boisterous laughter outside, lying back on his bed with a silly grin. This was the final chapter, a time for unfettered joy and carefree abandon. That night, he drifted into slumber with a smile. The next morning, upon opening the dormitory door, a nauseating stench assaulted him, almost inducing revulsion. The door across the hall stood wide open, revealing a floor slick with mud, remnants of food, and an overturned trash bin and ashtray, along with some unidentified vomit. Urge stood, hands on hips, atop a beer box, unable to find footing as he surveyed the scene, cursing under his breath. Chun Xiao, suppressing his nausea, offered Urge a cigarette. Though uncertain of what transpired, the scene mirrored a familiar occurrence from his past life. The entire corridor was permeated with an unbearable odor. Urge, I have some business to attend to, he announced. All right, you go on. I'll gather these rascals and sort them out later. Exiting the dormitory building, he inhaled several deep breaths of fresh air, dispelling the urge to retch. Facing the rising sun, he ran freely on the track, finally clearing those tumultuous images from his mind. Yudi still awaited him on the steps, her spirit evidently lifted lately. It seemed she had heeded Chun Zhao's advice and ceased her late-night habits. However, despite abandoning late nights, she had merely shifted her gaming hours to the weekends, much to Chun Zhao's chagrin. Yudi, would you like me to buy you a house near the school? Yudi paused. No, keep your money for more important matters. I'm quite comfortable in the dormitory. It's convenient. Chun Xiao teased. Convenient for playing games with classmates, I presume? Hee hee. Never mind me. Just take care of yourself. Look, your eyes are so bloodshot. Are you feeling tired? Xia Yudi expressed concern. Chun Xiao gently stroked her hair and replied, no. I was just up late celebrating my senior's birthday in the dormitory. Oh, I see. Well, make sure to rest well when you get back, she said. Chun Xiao nodded in agreement, then whispered in Xia Yudi's ear, indeed, we must rest well. We have plans to go out tonight. A blush crept from her ears to her entire face. Stop it, don't say such things. Chun Xiao laughed heartily. Upon returning to the dormitory and finishing his grooming, Li Wenli was already downstairs with clothes in hand. You don't seem very happy today, Chun Xiao inquired. It's that wretched Xia Yudi. She actually bought a whole outfit for you to wear. Chun Xiao felt a mix of amusement and exasperation. What on earth were these two girls competing over? Sigh. Li Wenli sighed. If it weren't for the way she looks at you, I'd have fought her over it. Chun Xiao was speechless, just as the car arrived. And to his surprise, Lao Lu was driving a Phaeton. It seemed Zhang Meng had delivered it back last night. The nearly 3 million yuan Phaeton was comparable in price to the Mercedes-Benz 600, yet its allure was entirely different. Among the students, few paid it any mind, only catching a casual glance while crossing the street. This was precisely the effect Chun Xiao desired. He had instructed Lao Lu beforehand not to open the car door for him on campus. He grabbed the clothes, exchanged a few words with Li Wenli, and hurriedly made his way to the car, sliding into the back seat as the vehicle started and departed from the school. Li Wenli smiled at the understated luxury of the car, which had been showcased prominently at the supercar exhibition just days prior. Who would guess it was worth $3 million? Good morning, boss, Lao Lu greeted. Yes, good. I'll change into something else. Chen Xiao shed his old attire and donned a fresh set of casual clothes, glancing at himself and finding the fit quite suitable. Looking around the Phaeton's interior, its luxury was hardly inferior to that of the 600. It boasted all the essential features: heated and ventilated seats, massage functions, adjustable posture, onboard refrigerator, television, and more. Additionally, the suspension could be adjusted for softness or firmness, and it was equipped with a 12-cylinder engine. How does it drive? Chen Xiao asked. Lao Lu nodded repeatedly. It's excellent. Not worse than the 600. From now on, when you pick me up from school, use this car, Chen Xiao instructed. Understood, boss. Upon arriving at the new office building, it was impossible to tell that they had just moved in. Everything was perfectly organized. The lobby, with its soaring 8-meter ceilings, was spacious and bright, the polished floor tiles gleaming. A few newly hired, attractive receptionists quickly stood to greet Chen Xiao with smiles. Good morning, boss. Hello, everyone, Chen Xiao responded with a smile, then led them to a nearby exclusive elevator. This elevator only stopped on the 1st and 8th floors, solely for Chen Xiao's use. Regardless of when or where others were, the elevator would remain where he was, saving him the time of waiting. Chapter 91. The Wayward Son. Upon arriving on the 8th floor, as the elevator doors slid open, Chen Xiao beheld Lin Yanran and Lin Yinyu at the bar across the way. The duo had relocated their workspace to the 8th floor, assuming the roles of Chen Zhao's dedicated assistants, thereby succeeding Su Tang in her previous duties. Su Tang had been promoted to the position of general manager, her responsibilities multiplying, and only the most critical tasks were now entrusted to her. The remaining trifles were delegated to Lin Yanran and her companion. Good morning, boss, they greeted in unison. Ah, good morning. Have you eaten? He inquired. With sweet smiles, they replied, Yes, we have. Would you like something to drink? Just brew a pot of tea, Chen Xiao casually suggested. Certainly, Lin Yanran responded. She opened the door to the chairman's office, and after Chen Xiao stepped inside, she gently closed it behind him. Settling into his expansive 500-square-meter office with a view of Qian Lake, Chen Xiao felt a wave of contentment wash over him. What a delightful experience, he mused. Shortly thereafter, Lin Yanran entered bearing a tea tray. Noticing her boss immersed in the scenic beauty, she quietly poured a cup of tea and presented it to him. Boss, please enjoy your tea. Thank you, Chen Xiao replied, taking a sip and jesting. Just don't go hiding under the desk this time. Our office is spacious enough for someone to conceal themselves. Lin Yanran's cheeks flushed crimson. Boss, if you need anything, just call for me. I'll be right outside. All right, you may go, Chen Xiao said, and with a sigh of relief, she turned and exited, still blushing. Savoring the tea, Chen Xiao was uncertain of its variety. Yet it possessed a delightful fragrance that made it quite enjoyable. He recalled a prior conversation with Su Tang, where she had inquired about his tea preferences. Lacking knowledge on the subject, he had replied that he was open to trying different kinds. Understanding his disposition, Su Tang likely sourced the finest selections. Before long, Su Tang knocked and entered. Boss, the Jinyuan ecological project has surged significantly, quickly nearing the liquidation threshold you mentioned. Both teams have begun to liquidate their holdings. Excellent. And how are the performance metrics looking? Chen Xiao inquired. Opening her folder, Su Tang stated, last week yielded a floating profit of 3%. If today's transactions proceed smoothly, we should see around a 12% profit. Very well. What is our current position? He asked. Only a little over 200 million. She replied. Chen Xiao nodded. With over 200 million, the profit should hover around 20 to 30 million, which he considered marginally acceptable. Su Tang mused internally that if others in the second generation were privy to his thoughts, they might be appalled. For most, toiling for 6 months on a project might yield similar returns, yet he deemed 20 to 30 million merely adequate. Cough, cough, boss. How shall we proceed today? Su Tang queried. Checking his phone, Chen Xiao was momentarily taken aback. Launching Group has risen a total of 6,000 from June 23rd to June 30th. Today is the 21st, and from the day after tomorrow until the end of the month, excluding 2 weekend days, it is projected to increase by 60%. Launching Group? Why does that name ring a bell? Chen Xiao pondered, then suddenly smacked his thigh, exclaiming, Wait, I sent that by Haonan's family company? Noticing the shifting expressions on Chen Zhao's face, Su Tang felt a twinge of concern. Boss, have you encountered some trouble? She wondered. Ah, Chen Xiao suddenly spoke, startling Su Tang, who had been deep in thought. What is it, boss? She asked, her curiosity piqued. Chen Xiao furrowed her brows and said, "The funds from the liquidation will be entirely invested in the stocks of Bluechung Group." "Understood, boss," Su Tang replied, promptly turning to make the necessary arrangements. Chen Xiao gazed absently at the distant scenery. "Bai Xiao, I must apologize for borrowing your favorable winds. Shall I present you with a grand gift upon liquidation?" She chuckled. Before beginning her search for information regarding Bluechung Group, to her surprise, she discovered that just moments ago, Bluechung Group had announced a reduction of 50 million shares of its own stock, raising 5 billion yuan for operational development. A smile crept across Chen Zhao's face. Bluechung Group was certainly making significant moves. Otherwise, the stock price wouldn't have surged so drastically. This 5 billion yuan was likely earmarked for such endeavors. However, regardless of their intentions, this action was akin to providing Chen Xiao with a helping hand. Once the news broke, the stock price of Bluechung Group plummeted, and a deluge of sell orders flooded the market. Chen Zhao's team wasted no time, purchasing stocks generously while remaining within the bounds of the prevailing pessimism surrounding Bluechung Group. In just one morning, half of the 2 billion yuan in the company account was expended. In the conference room of Bluechung Group, Bai Lanqing and several shareholders intently observed the market situation. After a morning of trading, the stock price had fallen by 5%, exceeding everyone's expectations. Bai Lanqing remarked with a smile, "It seems the market still has considerable confidence in our group. This indirectly indicates that our risk resistance is higher than anticipated." With the 5 billion yuan now liquidated, the stock price has barely dipped. Once the land auction concludes and we announce our projects, our company's stock will undoubtedly soar to new heights. In 6 months, we could reach unprecedented levels, allowing us to liquidate another portion for project development. Upon hearing this, the shareholders expressed their admiration for the chairman's foresight. Bai Lanqing then shifted his tone to a serious one, asserting, "I warn all present. If you wish to ride this wave, you must strictly adhere to disclosure and reporting regulations. At such a critical juncture, we cannot afford any violations. Of course, Chairman, rest assured, we are all shareholders. Going against the company would mean going against our own interests," they replied in unison. Bai Lanqing nodded in satisfaction after a brief admonishment. Shortly thereafter, Bai Haonan knocked and entered with a smile. "Dad, what is the occasion for such merriment? Everyone seems quite cheerful." Bai Lanqing's expression hardened. "You needn't pry into the board's decisions. Let me tell you, it would be best for you to keep a low profile lately and refrain from causing any trouble. Especially before the land auction." Bai Haonan, with a nonchalant demeanor, replied, "What trouble could I possibly cause? You won't allow me to participate in any core company projects, so I'm left with nothing but to eat and drink all day." "You," Bai Lanqing exclaimed in frustration, pointing at Bai Haonan. "Can't you learn a thing or two from Xiong Chao? In every regard, his father surpasses me, except when it comes to sons. Yours is a disappointment." At the mention of Xiong Chao, Bai Haonan's temper flared. "Always Xiong Chao this, Xiong Chao that. If you admire him so much, why not adopt him as your son? I refuse to serve you any longer." With that, he kicked open the conference room door and strode out. "You ungrateful wretch." Bai Lanqing was nearly driven to despair, trembling as he sat in his chair. The shareholders hastily rushed to console him. "Chairman, please do not let your anger affect your health. Do not be upset, Chairman. Haonan is still young and will come to understand your intentions in due course. Indeed, you must not let your health deteriorate. The land auction is approaching, and you need to oversee the situation." Bai Lanqing took a moment to catch his breath, gradually calming his emotions. He then waved his hand and said, "I am fine. Everyone, please prepare separately. This is our group's opportunity for a significant leap forward." "Yes, Chairman. This time, no one can hinder our group's ascent." Chapter 92. An opportunity for surrender unbeknownst to Chen Xiao. His actions had instilled boundless confidence in Bai Lanqing. Since this endeavor utilized the group's own funds, its confidentiality was remarkably secure. No one was aware that Tung Xiao Capital was underpinning Lanqing Group. At noon, Chen Xiao received a text message on his phone. "The target investigation by the securities firm has been completed. The information has been sent to your email." Chen Xiao promptly opened his email, discovering that Zhong's intelligence was exceedingly detailed. The subject was a middle-aged man in his 40s, with thinning hair and silver-rimmed glasses of average appearance. His name was Han Hai, a local from Jining, married for 18 years with a 16-year-old child in high school. This individual had participated in insider trading multiple times at a private securities firm, with concrete evidence documented in this report. With this information, Chen Xiao could send him away at any moment. He let out a cold chuckle. The account details were at the exchange. Han Hai likely perceived Chen Xiao as an ordinary university student without significant connections, thus audaciously selling his personal information multiple times. Once to Shi Zhongfu, once to Yin Bingxin, and yet again to Yin Yinyan. This enabled them to swiftly ascertain whose capital had intervened in the transactions. However, Shi Zhongfu ultimately fell short compared to the two young ladies of Atlantic Capital, only managing to trace back to Su Tang, which led to the ambush incident in the parking lot. Lei Yong, he said, "Boss, you called?" Chen Xiao handed him the information. "I wish to meet this individual." Lei Yong glanced at the details and nodded. "Understood, boss. I will fetch him. He will be before you in no more than 2 hours." "Excellent." Lei Yong took the documents and proceeded with his task. Chen Xiao picked up the phone and dialed. "Hello? Su Tang, transfer 200,000 toEnzhong, labeling it as operational funds and bonuses. Additionally, send me information on Wang Jiankai." "Understood, boss." After making the arrangements, Chen Xiao sent a text. "Investigate the evidence of Wang Jiansai's illegal activities. I will have Su Tang relay the information to you." 2 minutes later,Enzhong replied, "Received." Having scarcely slept for several consecutive days,Enzhong was just about to set his phone down for a moment of rest when he suddenly received a bank notification. A deposit of 200,000 had been credited. His eyes widened in astonishment. Shortly after, the phone rang. "Hello,Enzhong? This is Su Tang." "Hello, General Manager Su. Greetings. The sum of 200,000 is the capital and bonus provided by your employer for your endeavors, which you may allocate at your discretion. Additionally, it serves as a commendation for your exemplary completion of work tasks. I will subsequently send the materials to your email, so please keep an eye out for them. Thank you on my behalf to the boss, Su." "Certainly, no problem." After hanging up the phone,Enzhong found himself lost in thought, staring at the 200,000. The phrase "you may allocate at your discretion" implies that this entire amount could be considered a bonus, transforming into personal wealth, which is permissible. However,Enzhong would not proceed in such a manner. After years of relentless toil, he had scarcely saved even 100,000. In a matter of days, his employer had transferred 200,000 to him. Setting aside the life-saving grace, in terms of salary and benefits, he absolutely could not let his employer down. Suddenly, all traces of fatigue vanished. He removed half of his clothing only to put it back on again. He swiftly activated his network of connections, meticulously searching for any clues regarding Wang Jiankai. At noon, Chen Xiao did not leave the office, but instead had a simple meal, then took a brief rest under Lin Yanran's gentle massage. At 2 in the afternoon, Lei Yong returned, stating, "Boss, the individual is already in the basement." "Very well." Waving Lin Yanran away, Chen Xiao proceeded to the basement. Among a throng of bodyguards, he encountered the man from the photograph. "Ha, Han Hai, you've sold me out completely. Treating me like a mere swine for profit. Haven to you?" Han Hai shivered. Having seen Chen Xiao's ID photo, he recognized him instantly. "B brother, I was wrong. Please spare me. I can return the money." Chen Xiao chuckled softly. "Given your familiarity with me, you should know whether I am in need of money." Han Hai was taken aback, his mind muddled. Chen Xiao's accounts were managed through their financing institution, and no one was more aware of the profits from each transaction than they were. His modest funds were but a drop in the ocean. He could only blame his initial greed and misplaced confidence in believing Chen Xiao to be merely a student. Indeed, every major figure has intriguing background. The seemingly ordinary F.A. Ade is merely a guise. "B brother, my daughter is only 16. She cannot be without her father. If something happens to me, my family will fall apart." Lei Ting brought over a folding chair, and Chen Xiao sat down, crossing his legs, lighting a cigarette, and remarked with a smile, "You still recognize that your family may fall apart? Do you realize how many people have faced misfortune due to the information you sold? How many have suffered? How many have lost their lives?" Han Hai trembled, his trousers quickly becoming soaked. He instinctively knelt down, should his dealings come to light. He would be facing at least a decade behind bars. Everything he had could vanish in an instant. Chen Xiao spoke sternly. "Do not try to play that card with me. It was your insatiable greed that almost led to my subordinates and me being kidnapped in a basement. For the sake of your 16-year-old daughter, I am granting you an opportunity to turn yourself in." Han Hai slumped to the ground, Chen Xiao's words condemning his career and future to a death sentence. Chen Xiao rose, casting a cold glance at him before turning to leave. "You have but 1 hour, and after that, even the opportunity to surrender will elude you." Han Hai was forcefully expelled from the basement by Lei Ting and others, cast out from the company. Wandering despondently along Lakeside Avenue, He gazed at the emerald waters, contemplating a leap into its depths. Yet his cowardice prevailed, and he dismissed the thought. Chen Xiao tossed Han Hai's dossier to Lei Yong, instructing him to deliver it to the relevant authorities. Lei Yong, momentarily taken aback, chuckled and remarked, "Absolutely, boss. We must not show leniency towards such individuals. Off you go. See him on his way." This scoundrel lacks even the courage to walk in on his own. Shortly thereafter, under Lei Yong's guidance, Han Hai, still wavering on Lakeside Avenue, was apprehended by the police. "Big brothers, I surrender." "Surrender? We have already amassed incontrovertible evidence of your crimes. And you are in custody. How can you claim to surrender? Be honest with me." Han Hai exclaimed, "Damn it, Chen Xiao." That very afternoon, media outlets unleashed a flurry of reports, revealing that a certain fund company in Jining was under investigation for suspected insider trading and the leakage of client information. Those in the know were instantly drenched in cold sweat. The audacious tactics of the 20-year-old were ruthless indeed, gathering evidence and bribing the media. This served as a stern warning to the financial sector of Jining. Chapter 93. The arrogant by Haonan Chen Xiao was pleased with the reactions from various quarters. Summoning Su Tang to his office, he remarked, "The leakage of our information has resulted in the arrest of the individual involved in the underground parking lot incident." Su Tang joyfully replied, "Now, in the Jining financial circle, I doubt anyone would dare to offend us easily." Chen Xiao smiled, thinking to himself that, compared to True Capital, they were still far from formidable. However, he did not wish to dampen Su Tang's enthusiasm, saying, "Let us seize the moment and raise another 3 billion. Let's see if there are still those who are blind to the opportunity." "Ah, so much? Will it all be invested in the Blue City Group?" Su Tang's beautiful eyes sparkled with astonishment. Chen Xiao nodded. "Indeed. The market value of the Blue City Group is several hundred billion, with ample circulating shares. I believe acquiring 50 billion in the next few days will pose no issue." "Understood, boss." Su Tang immediately set to work. The afternoon trading proceeded smoothly. The negative impact of the chairman and major shareholders reducing their holdings was not easily dispelled. Despite Chen Zhao's continuous low-level acquisitions, the stock price of the Blue City Group remained on a downward trajectory. Soon, the 20 billion was exhausted. By then, no one had realized that it was Chen Xiao who was covertly purchasing shares of the Blue City Group. However, once Su Tang utilized the 30 billion source from institutional financing, a select few became aware that Chen Xiao had begun to take action. Yet, since Han Hai had only just been taken in today, those few privy to the information chose to remain silent to avoid attracting calamity. On June 21st, after a day of intense effort, the two teams collectively expended 29 billion to acquire 49 of the Blue City Group stock. Wang Peng and Xiao Su's team consumed 19 billion, while Su Tang's newly formed team, hindered by indecision, managed to expend only 10 billion, despite their larger numbers. Consequently, Chen Xiao ascended to become the fourth largest individual shareholder of the Blue City Group. Due to a shareholding ratio of less than 5%, there is no obligation for disclosure. The remaining funds are intended for trading tomorrow. In fact, Chen Xiao could opt to transfer the money into Su Tang's account to avoid disclosure. However, since financing has been secured, complete confidentiality is unattainable, rendering the effort unnecessary. Once the shareholding exceeds 5%, disclosure must occur within 3 days, and Chen Xiao remains unfazed. After work, the two teams convened, with the new team expressing their concerns. In such adverse conditions, engaging in rampant purchases and even securing financing could lead to significant losses for the company if the subsequent market trends falter, potentially resulting in a collapse. In response, Wang Peng and Xiao Su reassured them not to worry. Simply performing their duties according to the boss's directives would not lead them astray. The new employees found it challenging to comprehend the unwavering confidence of their predecessors and their blind trust in the boss. Yet, having only recently joined, they refrained from voicing their dissenting thoughts, though each harbored their own reservations, not particularly optimistic. As employees departed after work, some remained to contemplate the tasks for the following day or to engage in fitness and tea. The security team was undergoing group training, now expanded to 20 members. Chen Xiao intended to augment this further. This expense held little significance for him, yet the security assurance it provided was invaluable. Chen Zhao's aspiration was to cultivate a protective force capable of neutralizing any unconventional threats to his safety. His ultimate pursuit was to possess the capability to transcend all constraints, ensuring he could swiftly reach any corner of this planet securely. Of course, such ambitions were premature, necessitating immense resources and the willing sacrifices of many. The sweating security personnel, upon spotting Chen Xiao, immediately stood to greet him. Their demeanor suggested a background in military service. Continue. I shall observe, he instructed. Yes. Another round of comprehensive physical training came a command. Under the thunderous directive, a group of robust men energetically repeated a particularly grueling training regimen. As Chen Xiao exited the building, he noted that landscaping work was underway in the courtyard. Although the area outside his company's premises was not under his jurisdiction, he had arranged for its restoration. Weeds had transformed into expansive, carpet-like lawns, where employees could lay mats and bask in the sun during breaks or bring their families for weekend picnics. Hey, ISNT, that's someone we know? A voice caught Chen Zhao's attention, and he turned to see Bai Haonan emerging from the Binhui Yuan project office, accompanied by a group. Chen Xiao held a poor impression of this individual and replied, "Oh, aren't you that one? What brings you here?" Bai Haonan appeared momentarily taken aback before bursting into laughter. "Ha, how amusing. You're the first to forget my name." Chen Xiao dismissed him, considering him a fool, and turned to walk away. Bai Haonan's expression darkened instantly, and with a wave of his hand, he signaled his companions to follow. Upon reaching the company entrance, they were intercepted by the newly assigned security personnel. "Halt! Who are you? Who are we? Why don't you ask your boss, Chen?" Chen Xiao halted and turned, stating, "You are unwelcome here. Baikonan burstintulo. Woma. Soon, the entire Binhui Yuan project will belong to my family. You say I am not welcome? I should be the one saying that to you. Leave this place at once." Chen Xiao was taken aback. The Xiong family had sold the Binhui Yuan project? Even if you have purchased Binhui Yuan, it has no bearing on me. This building and the surrounding land are now my private property. Bai Haonan was stunned. You bought it? Did you not know?" Chen Xiao retorted. Bai Haonan had not anticipated this. He believed the entire Binhui Yuan project was still intact and was shocked to learn that the office building he valued most had already been sold. "Damn, I don't believe it. Show me the property deed." Chen Xiao chuckled. "You have no right to make such a request. Go play elsewhere. To hell with it." "I don't believe you." Bai Haonan scoffed inwardly. Who among their wealthy circle could easily access nearly 100 million in funds? Such a substantial transaction would surely have leaked some information. If Chen Xiao wouldn't let him in, he was determined to force his way inside. "Let me in. I'm going to see for myself." "What can you do about it?" Bai Haonan charged forward with a dozen companions. Lei Yong immediately positioned himself in front of Chen Xiao. "You are trespassing on private property without permission. I hereby issue a warning. Should you ignore this, I will take necessary measures to defend the rights to my private property. To hell with your warnings. Just fight me." Bai Haonan, accustomed to his domineering ways, perceived the warning as mere provocation. The group of bodyguards surged forward. Lei Yong's expression darkened, his gaze sharpening like that of a hawk. He deftly blocked an incoming punch, sending the assailant flying 2 meters with a kick, and with a whip-like motion, he knocked another to the ground. Seizing the next assailant's arm, he applied slight pressure, and a sharp crack echoed. In the presence of the dozen bodyguards, Lei Yong moved like a wolf amidst sheep, effortlessly taking down half of them in no time. At that moment, other security personnel, led by Lei Ting, rushed out to join the fray. Bai Haonan, witnessing the scene, inhaled sharply, his earlier bravado evaporating as he stood frozen in disbelief. Was there really someone so formidable? He thought such individuals only existed in films. One was fierce enough. And now the whole group? This could end badly. Thanks to Wu Hao for the 15 divine certification symbols urging updates. I appreciate the gift from everyone, the updates, and the short videos. Thank you for your support. Additionally, I wish everyone a joyous Lantern Festival. Chapter 94. Trust me. I don't trust people. Lei Yong's ferocity intimidated the group of bodyguards. Once Lei Ting and the others charged out, they hesitated, fear evident in their eyes, and came to a halt. Chen Xiao then smiled. "Bai Haonan, how about it? You're not cut out for this." Bai Haonan swallowed hard. He had engaged in fights before, but did not wish to be on the receiving end. "Let us do this another day." Chen Xiao waved his hand dismissively. "No more delays. Since you're here, I'll be sure to escort you in for a few days. Sounds fair, doesn't it? Bai Haonan. In this era, the awareness of legal matters among people is rather weak. Bai Haonan never contemplated that his altercation would lead to his arrest. In the past, discussions would revolve merely around compensation. "You intend to report this?" Chen Xiao remarked, gesturing towards the surveillance camera. "You incited your subordinates to infringe upon private property, persistently dissuading while attempting to resort to violence. Although we acted in legitimate self-defense, we cannot simply let the thugs go unpunished." Bai Haonan, at a loss for words, glanced at the several bodyguards sprawled on the ground, and thought, who among us is the real thug? Chen Xiao, if you call the police, you'll find it hard to navigate this circle afterward. It's utterly disgraceful. One should resolve their own matters without involving the authorities. What kind of man does that? Whether I am a man or not, my woman will attest to it. What? Do you wish to offer yourself to prove this? Chen Xiao retorted harshly. Bai Haonan was about to unleash a tirade, but upon seeing Lei Ting and the others, he swallowed his words. Chen Xiao, do you think calling the police will intimidate me? Are you aware of the connections I have? Go ahead, report me, and let us see who dares to arrest me. Chen Xiao smiled. Very well, just wait. With that, he picked up his phone and made a call. A mere 15 minutes later, a throng of reporters arrived, followed shortly by Bai Haonan and his companions being escorted into police vehicles, their faces devoid of hope as they pressed against the iron bars. Outside, a swarm of reporters snapped photographs fervently. He could hardly believe that he had truly ended up in such a predicament. Once the chaos subsided, Chen Xiao gazed at the departing Bai Haonan and burst into laughter. Ha ha, that fool. He truly cracks me up. Before long, news about the scion of the Lancheng group being detained for provoking trouble spread like wildfire across non-mainstream media in Jining and even nationwide. Upon returning to the office, Chen Xiao remarked to Su Teng, tomorrow, I suspect the stock price of the Lancheng group will plummet further. Prepare another billion. Understood, boss. Su Teng replied. Chen Xiao chuckled at the thought. Ha ha ha, sitting at home and watching money rain from the heavens. This ISN Timir talk. Although the others were unaware of the unfolding events, they joined in his merriment, buoyed by their boss's exuberance. After some time, Chen Xiao said to Iran, please book me a luxurious suite at a 5-star hotel. Lin Iran's cheeks flushed crimson. Oh, all right. Images of that day beneath the office desk flashed through her mind. Would it be that woman? Or perhaps the one from Lin Yuyuan? Or, lost in thought, Lin Iran abruptly shook her head, dispelling those notions. At the foot of Building 15 at Jining University, a phaeton sat quietly by the roadside, unnoticed. Shortly thereafter, Xia Yudi, clad in a blue ripple-patterned skirt, emerged from her dormitory. With her fair skin, slender figure, and breathtaking beauty, she immediately became the center of attention. However, when a group of envious onlookers saw her get into the back seat of a Volkswagen and caught a glimpse of the enchanting girl embracing a man inside, the sound of shattered hearts echoed throughout the vicinity of Building 15. Ah, why? Give me 10 years, and I could afford a Volkswagen too. Wait for me, fairy. My youth is over. The little fairy has run off with the Volkswagen guy. I refuse to accept this. The disparity in status necessitates acquiring a BMW to quell our discontent. Meanwhile, you possess a mere Volkswagen, which leads me to believe I could manage just as well. Amidst the cacophony of lamenting souls, one figure remained remarkably composed, observing the throng with a sense of disdain. When did the phaeton come to be regarded as merely a Volkswagen? Ah, it appears it is indeed a Volkswagen. What a peculiar vehicle. It amounts to nothing. Xia Yudi nestled closely against Chen Xiao, her face radiating affection and attachment. Chen Xiao, why does your Volkswagen feel so distinctly different? Chen Xiao chuckled. What difference does it make? It's still a Volkswagen. ISNT it? Xia Yudi shifted her position, finding the ride exceptionally comfortable, with an interior that exuded luxury. Unlike the ordinary models she was accustomed to, Chen Xiao playfully brushed her delicate nose with his fingertip, assuring her that regardless of the car, she need not be astonished, for she deserved far better. Giggling, Xia Yudi buried her head deeper into Chen Xiao's chest. The soft light cascaded over her porcelain skin, rendering her irresistibly alluring. Her lush, flowing hair, adorned with gentle natural curls, added to her charm. Xia Yudi's beauty nearly caused Chen Xiao to forget his skepticism regarding the promises of others after his rebirth. He sighed softly, contemplating, in this lifetime, I shall trust only those who place their faith in me, for I will not betray those who believe in me. Yet, I will trust no one, for I cannot afford to repeat past mistakes. Chen Xiao, what troubles you? Xia Yudi inquired gently, having heard his sigh. He shook his head. It's nothing. I merely had a fleeting thought, a moment of reflection. Oh, I thought you were unhappy. Let me treat you to dinner tonight. Chen Xiao caressed her long hair, saying, how could I allow you to treat me? I insist. Will you accept my invitation? Chen Xiao, resigned, pondered how one could refuse the whims of a little fairy. Very well, I shall acquiesce. After a moment, Chen Xiao asked, Yudi, what are your plans for the future? Plans? Let me think. Actually, I wish to play video games. If gaming could become a profession, that would be wonderful, Xia Yudi expressed wistfully. Chen Xiao was taken aback. Gaming? In the future? That would undoubtedly be a lucrative career. Furthermore, with Xia Yudi's sweet demeanor and voice, she was a prime candidate for becoming a leading streamer. However, this industry is not unlike the entertainment sector. He must ensure that his beloved does not fall prey to the whims of capital. Given this consideration, it might be prudent to acquire a few streaming companies and become the capital himself. With this thought in mind, Chen Xiao took out his phone to search for streaming platforms. In just a decade, streaming would evolve into the most popular gaming communication and showcase software. At this moment, the two dominant forces in this domain, Shark and Cat Tooth, had yet to be established. Note, today, chapters 93 and 94 are released together. For those who enter at chapter 94, do revisit chapter 93. Chapter 95, a chance encounter with Zhao Xiaohong, reflecting on his thoughts. Chen Xiao composed a message to Su Tang. Initiate the establishment of an investment department. The next step is to seek potential domestic companies for investment. Stared at her phone for a considerable time before finally responding with excitement. Received. The boss is venturing into an entirely new domain. One that is more authentic and stable than finance. Gazing at the endless expanse of Qian Lake, ripples of thought stirred within her heart. Perhaps the dream of standing at the pinnacle of the world is not merely a fanciful wish. As the car halted at the entrance of Jide Square, Chen Xiao and Xia Yudi emerged. Coincidentally, Xing Yanqing and Zhao Xiaohong strolled by, witnessing this very scene. Upon seeing Chen Xiao, Zhao Xiaohong was filled with ire. This man had taken away her first time, yet did not even offer her 3,000 yuan. However, upon seeing him unscathed, she was momentarily taken aback. Wasn't Xing Yanqing supposed to have left Ji Yujing battered and bruised? Where were the signs of any injury? It seems no man can be trusted. Today, she had planned to indulge in a shopping spree with Xing Yanqing, so she refrained from questioning him directly and instead chose to confront him head-on. Renting a car to deceive young girls again? And he even rented a shabby Volkswagen. How far he must have fallen. Chen Zhao's heart lightened upon spotting Xing Yanqing and Zhao Xiaohong. This treacherous pair seemed to cross paths wherever they went. Yet, a more delightful thought crossed his mind. That scoundrel, Xing Yanqing, with his two mistresses, and yet he had not claimed any of them for himself. This thought reached Xia Yudi's ears, and she immediately bristled. Who do you think you are? If you can't speak properly, then keep your mouth shut. Zhao Xiaohong was taken aback. My heavens, I was merely exposing the true nature of this deceiver. Who are you calling a deceiver? You are the true deceiver. Your entire family is a bunch of deceivers. Xia Yudi retorted angrily. Zhao Xiaohong, fuming, pointed at Xia Yudi but struggled to articulate her thoughts. Fine, you win. You just continue your relationship with him. I hope you get deceived by this brainless fool. Xia Yudi was about to retaliate further when Chen Xiao intervened. Brother Xing, how have you been? Xing Yanqing appeared embarrassed. How is it that every time he cheated, Chen Xiao happened to stumble upon him? Ahem. Well, you know how it is. Brother, I understand. Keep a close watch on your woman. I shall take my leave now. All right, take care, Chen Xiao replied, leading Xia Yudi into the mall. Zhao Xiaohong glared at Xing Yanqing with a disapproving expression. It was evident that the two knew each other, yet he claimed to have beaten Ji Yujing half to death. What a masterful deceiver. Little did Xing Yanqing know the intricacies of the situation. He had merely heard Zhao Xiaohong mention that a student from the Fine Arts Department at Jining University named Ji Yujing had offended her, prompting him to confront the student. Feeling the awkwardness of being caught in another act of infidelity, Xing Yanqing coughed awkwardly. Ahem, let us not linger here. You mentioned wanting to buy a bag, didn't you? Upon hearing the mention of bags, Zhao Xiaohong relented and ceased her pursuit of the matter. All right, let us go buy a bag. After saying this, she couldn't help but elevate her budget in her mind. Once inside the mall, Xia Yudi remained upset. Seeing her adorable pout, Chen Xiao chuckled. Come now. Why stoop to her level? I'll show you. I'm not happy. I want to go back and scold her. Chen Xiao responded, let us not. Let us focus on buying your bag, pointing to a nearby store. Xia Yudi glanced at the scene, shaking her head and murmuring, forget it. This brand is exceedingly expensive. Chen Xiao, however, tugged at her arm and insisted, I have a penchant for the luxurious. Come, let's explore inside. Despite Xia Yudi's futile struggles, she found herself drawn into the queue. This luxury boutique was unlike any other. It did not allow casual entry as depicted in novels. Instead, patrons were required to wait in line, and the store operated on a one-on-one service model. After a group